Hey, good Sunday morning, August 15th, 2021. How are you doing? My name is Ken Arzone, Vista, California. Taking care of Baseball Hall of Famers analysis and stats. This series of episodes is focusing on best hitters and best pitchers of a certain decade. I started with 1870 to 1879. Who was the best hitter between 1870 and 1879? Who's in the Hall of Fame? Jim O'Rourke, 730 hits. Who was the best pitcher during that decade? Al Spalding, 252 wins. 1880, 1889. Who was the best hitter? Cap Hansen, 1,518 hits. Who was the best pitcher? Tim Keefe, 291 wins. 1890 to 1899. Who was the best hitter? Ed Delante, 1,863 hits. Who was the best pitcher? Kid Nichols, 296 wins. 1900, 1909. Who was the best hitter? Horace Wagner, 1,847 hits. Who was the best pitcher? Christy Matheson, 236 wins. 1910 to 1919. Who was the best hitter? Ty Cobb, 1,948 hits. Who was the best pitcher? Walter Johnson, 265 wins. 1920 to 1929. Who was the best hitter? Roger Hornsby, 2,085 hits. Who was the best pitcher? Burleigh Grimes, 190 wins. All right, now I'm in the 1930 to 1939. And if you want to know how I did all my episodes, I covered all the players who had good years through those decades, Hall of Famers. I listed their hits, RBIs, and average. So if you want to get the details on all the players covered throughout each decade, look at all those episodes. This episode, I will focus 1930 to 39, and I will list all the players who did well. Who was the best hitter between 1930 and 1939? Who do you think it is? Paul Waner, 1,959 hits. Who was the best pitcher? Lefty Grove, 199 wins. How about that? All right, let's go over 1930 to 1939. Okay? Let's say who had good decade. Jimmy Fox, 1,845 hits, 1,403 RBI, 356 is his high average. As far as Paul Waner, told you he led the decade, 1,959 hits. He had 749 RBI, and his high was 380. All right, who else? Lloyd Wainer, 1,585 hits, 408 RBI, 362. Mel Ott, 1,673 hits, 1,135 RBI, 349 average. Al Simmons, 1,700 hits, 1,081 RBI, 390 was his high. Joe Medwick, 1,492 hits, 873 RBI, 374 for a high. Joe Cronin, 1,650 hits, 1,036 RBI, 346. Luke Applin, 1,343 hits, 615 RBI, 388. Henny Manouche, 1,405 hits, 747 RBI, 362. Frankie Frisch, 1,028 hits, 482 RBI, 346. Tony Lazario comes in, 1,175 hits, 787 RBI, 300 average. Charlie Gehringer had a good decade, 1,865 hits, 1,003 RBI, 371. Bill Dickey, 1,431 hits, 937 RBI, 362 average. Lou Gehrig, 1,802 hits, 1,360 RBI. He led everybody during that decade in RBIs. 379 was his high. Babe Ruth, finishing out his career, 797 hits, 652 RBI, 373. Kiki Kohler, 1,294 hits, 572 RBI, 355. Harry Hangelman finishing out, 161 hits, 97 RBI, 333. Johnny Mize comes in, 716 hits, 416 RBI, 364. Sam Rice finishing up, 551 hits, 194 RBI, 349. Hack Wilson, 597 hits, 459 RBI, 356. Bill Terry, 1,332 hits, 602 RBI, 401. Joe Sewell, 528 hits, 234 RBI, 302. Hank Greenberg, 1,086 hits, 851 RBI, 348. Pie Trainer, 849 hits, 851 RBI, 366. Roger Hornsby finishing out, 225 hits, 163 RBI, 331. Remember, Hornsby won the 1920s decade. George Sisler finishing out, 133 hits, 67 RBI, 309. Joe DiMaggio enters the decade, 791 hits, 558 RBI, 381. Mickey Cochran, 959 hits, 496 RBI, 357. Rabbit Marinville, 541 hits, 151 RBI, 281. Gabby Harnett, 1,220 hits, 777 RBI, 344. Ted Williams enters the decade, 185 hits, 145 RBI, 327. We'll see what Ted does for the 1940s. Goose Goslin, 1,299 hits, 790 RBI, 328. Lou Bergeron, 58 hits, 19 RBI, 258. Early Combs, 841 hits, 329 RBI, 344. Chick Happy, 810 hits, 417 RBI, 349. Earl Averill, 1,786 hits, good decade, 1,046 RBI, 339. Billy Herman, 1,540 hits, 520 RBI, 341. Earl Lindstrom, 883 hits, 410 RBI, 379. Lindstrom, I gotta get his first name right. Come on, Ken. What's Lindstrom's first name? Freddie, sorry. Said early. Freddie Lindstrom. Chuck Klein, 1,819 hits, 979 RBI, 368. Johnny Mize, 716 hits, 416 RBI, 364. Rick Farrell, 1,160 hits, 529 RBI, 312. Ennis Slaughter, 302 hits, 144 RBI, 320. Archie Vaughn, 1,413 hits, 631 RBI, 385. Bobby Doerr, 347 hits, 167 RBI, 318. And Ernie Lombardi, 1,067 hits, 571 RBI, 343. So some guys had some good years during those decades. Who led the decade again? Paul Waner, 1,959 hits. And you've got Charlie Gehringer, 1,865 hits. And you have Chuck Klein, 1,819 hits. Luke Gehrig, 1,802 hits. Earl Averill, 1,786. So Al Simmons, 1,700 hits. Lloyd Waner, 1,585 hits. Mel Ott, 1,673. Jimmy Fox, 1,845. Good decade. 1930 to 1939. Who led in pitching? Lefty Grove, 199 wins, 2,400 innings, 1,313 strikeouts. Next, Carl Hubbell, 188 wins, 2,597 innings, 1,281 strikeouts. Next, Red Ruffing, 175 wins, 2,442 strikeouts, 2,442 innings, 1,260 strikeouts. Lefty Gomez, 165 wins, 2,232 innings, 1,337 strikeouts. Dizzy Dean, 147 wins, 1,962 innings, 1,162 strikeouts. Ted Lyons, 117 wins, 1,977 innings, 536 strikeouts. Wade Hoyt, 72 wins, 1,313 innings, 434 strikeouts. Jesse Haynes, 57 wins, 883 innings, 239 strikeouts. Burleigh Grimes, 46 wins, 641 innings, 192 strikeouts. Johnny Van Meer enters, 23 wins, 438 innings, 279 strikeouts. Herb Pennock, 40 wins, 618 wins, 203 strikeouts. Eppa Rixey, 24 wins, 495 innings, 83 strikeouts. Dazzy Vance, 50 wins, 878 innings, 563 strikeouts. Red Faber, 23 wins, 545 innings, 155 strikeouts. Bob Feller enters the decade. 55 wins, 783 innings, 712 strikeouts. So the dominant pitchers from 1930 to 39 were Lefty Grove, Carl Hubbell, Red Ruffing, put in Lefty Gomez, and Dizzy Dean. So how are we doing as far as these decades? Are you impressed? I am. All right, the next episode will deal 1940 to 49. Curious question. Who's the best hitter between 1940 and 1949? Got DiMaggio, Williams. Who else? Who else played during that decade? We'll find out. We'll see who wins in hits. Some of those guys, though, served in the military. So that was the war years. So the hits may be lower, but we'll see who comes out on top. And as far as pitching, who was the best pitcher between 1940 and 1949? I'd be curious to find out. Then we're going to do the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, and 2010. I'm curious to see who comes out on top in each decade, aren't you? Also, what I'll do at the end, I'll see who had the best decade and who had the best hitting decade and who had the best winning decade and who led in innings and who led in strikeouts for the decade. and then we'll see who had the highest batting average per decade. We'll do that as a special encore after this series of episodes, okay? All right, thanks for watching. See you next time. I'm out.